Hi there, welcome at our Vivit quarterly meeting of Q4 2012. Do you all see my screen? Do we have a good visual?
Looks great, Martijn.
Okay, great. From the Vivit community or Vivit staff, you've got on the call Susan, Stephanie, Laura and myself. So again, I would like to welcome you at this quarterly meeting. It will be a little bit more focused also on the HP Discover event in Frankfurt, of course. But we've got still some interesting topics we would like to discuss with you. After every topic, you can just raise a hand and you can ask some questions where necessary. So please do not hesitate. As long as the topic is hot and just spoken about, it's good to raise some questions. So let's have a look at the agenda topics of today. I want to briefly touch the IT Game Changer events and special 6. I want to touch the subject about Vivit and Vivit Engage. I want to talk a little bit about the editorial calendar, about the HP Discover at Frankfurt, and something which we would like to discuss under the topic Wanted. Just a short update on the different special interest groups we now have in place. It's quite an impressive list at this moment, and some of those groups get more and more involved, which is really good, and also their attendees is not only driven from one location, but it's driven from a worldwide attendance. So that's quite good, especially also the new special interest groups in which you can mark, those are marked here with executive, are starting their first broadcasting. That doesn't mean that those are only for the executives there, but it also means that it's important for you as a leader also to find out what those high-level IT game changers discussions and events are about. For example, what is very interesting also for you as a local chapter leader or special interest group leader is if you go to the Cloud Builders special interest group events, it might be very interesting to join an event or cooperate with those leaders about how to start a discussion at your own local event or virtual event about cloud. For example, what does it actually mean for my own region or my own industry or my own special interest group about, for example, service management or testing and quality. If we're talking about approaching the cloud, what does it mean for me myself, but also what are the different approaches around cloud and SaaS, or what are actually important misconceptions about starting to work and to offer cloud. So stay tuned also for activities of those special interest groups which are mentioned over here with the label executive. It might give you some good and sound ideas how to incorporate those kind of topics into your own local and virtual events. So the question mark is, just go there, join them, and find out what's in it for you and your chapter or special interest group. And if you need help about how to establish a kind of a bridge between your local group or your special interest group on those topics, please let us know. We're willing to support you with organizing those kind of events, including these important IT game changes topics. next topic I would like to address, before I'm going to address it, I would like to ask if anyone has a question about those initiatives. Are there any hands raised, Stephanie?
Okay, I'm taking a look here. No, I don't see any right now. And they can also use the questions pane too if there's no luck in raising the hand there.
Yep.
Okay, no questions so far.
Okay, great. I would like to continue with what does it actually mean organizing Vivit events, and how should we compare it with the Vivit Engage program. As you probably all know now, they're based on the Vivit Engage program. We were also looking always for different kinds of sponsorships. Based on the sponsorships, it's possible to for partners or for HP to try to find out if it's possible to create some lead generation within our community. However, what is key for comparing those kind of events from the Engage program as well as the Vivit events is that we keep them separated, or let's say that they have a good and straightforward boundaries, and that we all are having the same thoughts about what are Vivit events about and what are the differences with the more commercial orientated events. Actually, what it actually mainly touches is the red words I highlighted in this sheet, which is about Vivit itself, is that especially for our community and also our events, it's important to safeguard the unbiased approach, the uncensored approach, and the field-tested approach. Which means that most of those events we are organizing from a Vivit perspective are really highly rated because they are a learning experience, or they are based on information sharing between peers. Well, perhaps it's good to just put the differences in one slide. The Vivit events, what are typically Vivit events? They are most of the time unbiased and are covering the core essence of what we would like to do for our community, being an independent user community. The Vivit events are most of the time at least organized twice a year based on the leadership program, as you probably all know. Topics are controlled by you as a leader, so you have an important voice into recognizing what is really important for your chapter or special interest group to talk about. And of course that also means that we would like to give our members, or chapter members or special interest group members, the opportunity to really share information and knowledge in an unbiased way with each other. Of course, those events are most of the time based on learning experiences and best practices. And that also means that the leaders, and of course also you, the Vivit staff, is always also focused on some kind of quality assurance, meaning that if one of our core competences is that we want to be an unbiased, open community, leaders and our Vivit organization is always focused on trying to deliver the quality we would like to, which we are, let's say, famous about, or which we always drive some additional membership for, being unbiased and being independent. That doesn't mean that those events are not suitable for sponsorship or commercial activities. They are very important events, and they are very good events for exposure for different kinds of partners, trying to establish their name, or trying to sponsor a meal, or trying to sponsor a presentation. However, we would like to emphasize that it's important to, for example, check up front when you have an event or a virtual event what the content of the presentations are. Is it really unbiased? Is it really based on sharing experiences and sharing knowledge? Is it based on use cases, for example, which is most of the time one of the most important means of sharing those experiences. The other part is the Vivit Engage, let's say the sponsorship program. Of course, most of the time it's biased. It has most of the time an ad hoc character. It could be, of course, scheduled or planned for 3 different meetings. The content is most of the time driven by the sponsor. And of course, around those kind of engagements, there could be also a lot of other commercial activities like webinars, email distribution, advertising, advanced training, and of course the result for a sponsor should also always be lead generation. And at this moment I think we also have a very good track record for our sponsors, meaning if we're looking at the conversion rate or the number of registrants also for these kind of biased events or biased presentations. I think both events are crucial for Vivit. The one is very important for the sponsorship, for driving our activities, for expanding our activities. When I'm talking about Vivit Engage, I would also like you to think about possibilities to work together with the Vivit staff, or if you have ideas for opportunities for future sponsorship, please let us know. And one of our godfathers, Rocky Pisto, will be glad to support you with thinking about the different ways of a kind of Vivit engagement program. We already have different ones running. For example, for some of the HP product teams are organizing a couple of meetings about the releases of new products, which is quite neat and cool also for us and for our community. On the other hand, it's still also important that we stress and emphasize and remind each other and are focused on the real experience in sharing knowledge. There should also be an important difference between the content used and presented with those engagement activities compared to the Vivit events locally as well as virtually. So that's something which we need to stress, and we need your help with both. So trying to control the content and really focusing on the unbiased learning experiences at one time, and at the other one, if you have or if you need or if you know opportunities or if you need some support on possible sponsorships, or if you yourself are not really sure if based on a possible partnership where this partnership is going, please let us know, and we will be more than willing to help you out in establishing a firm and good relationship with your sponsor. Any questions around the difference between the Vivit Engage program and the core competences around the Vivit events?
Don't see any hands raised, Martijn.
Okay, great. We hope to continue working with you on both events.
There's
Well,
a couple questions from Chris Scher.
yes.
Did you want to address those now?
Yes.
Okay. Would it make sense to have each SIG chapter provide some information, as you mentioned, on their particular SIG page, or provide it?
Just open up Chris so that we can ask him.
Okay, Chris, here you come. I'm opening you up. I'm unmuting you. Chris, we can hear you.
Okay.
Chris Scher.
Hi, Chris. Good morning. Could
Good
you
morning,
elaborate on
Chris.
your question?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes,
Yes.
I can hear you
Okay.
very well.
I wasn't sure. Actually, what that was in regards to basically information on how their product, how each product or the particular SIG area ties in with other SIG areas, and maybe if somebody were to pull that information together, I've often heard people want to see how everything ties together, and I don't know that HP really does it. Really, I mean, the pictorial view that they give is pretty high level, and I think more of a technical level, people want to know a little more, I guess, dig down a little farther. And I think that the SIG areas and the people in the specific SIG areas could probably include a little more detail than HP gives.
Yes, that's also, I agree with you, that's also a very important difference. And that's why I put together those programs and lay them next to each other. We should, let's say, try to align, as well as Vivit staff as leaders, that we make sure that we keep our unique selling points, which is the in-depth technical knowledge, which is the unbiased way of having a discussion. But I agree with you. It's a good point. It's a good remark. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see any more questions at this time, Martijn.
Okay. Thank you. Well, for a couple of minutes, I would like to talk with you about the editorial calendar. And here I did listed some of the steps normally taken to organize an event. And especially for virtual events, it's important to start working on your events ahead of time. This is an example of how you could organize your own event, but this is also a kind of a let's say, activity plan used normally with us internally. But I put that on the sheet just to make sure that we all understand that it's crucial to plan ahead of time, so that we also have enough time for campaigning about an event using the HP commercial channels or community channels to advertise, especially for virtual events, to perhaps also use some social media strategies, meaning that, for example, we will post different kind of events on, for example, LinkedIn, or we will use Twitter. So if we want to, let's say, support you in really attracting some additional membership, or if we want to campaign, put together a campaign for your event, it's important to, of course, plan and schedule it ahead of time. And we're more than willing to support you with putting together these kind of events. On the other side, it's also good in that case to know that if we're talking about organizing virtual events and campaigning about those events, that we will always make sure from resources as well as messaging perspective that we don't overload our membership community, too many emails or too many social media activities. So that's also an important item to know and to reckon with if you are going to organize an event. For example, sometimes some virtual events are targeted at the same kind of audiences or are targeted at the same regions, or they require some additional support. It's always good to know that if you just will be able to schedule it ahead of time, we could really give it the place on the calendar which is deserved, and that it's not driven, or that the membership will have to choose between different kind of activities. So as soon as you have an activity listed, it could even be locally, because sometimes some local events are at the same time as some virtual events. Please put them on the website, let us know, and we can make sure that from a calendar perspective those dates are not eating up, let's say, a possible number of attendees, so that we can make sure from allocating perspective that as much as possible members will be driven to your events. So please let us know when your next events are, or if you need help planning your events, and we will be able to support you in driving some additional members or some additional attendees if you like. That's some minutes which I would like to have spent on the Editorial calendar. Any questions about this part, about how it's set up, or about how to or who to contact when you drive or want to organize an event?
Okay, I don't see any hands raised at the moment, and no questions in the question pane.
Okay, great, great. So keep coming up those events and keep on posting them or letting us know about it, and we can support you with the campaigning, with the thinking about an event, or thinking about even topics or speakers, and we can also give it a good visual face on our editorial calendar. What about the next event? Did you already plan for Frankfurt? We have got a couple of events coming up also, especially for the leaders during these events. First of all, we've got the Vivit Advanced Training on December the 3rd. We've got the Vivit Leader Dinner and the recognition part, in which we will be handing over some very exciting awards to some very active leaders within our leader community. We've got the breakfast planned with HP Marketing on December the 4th. We've got on December the 5th a Vivit Leader Lunch meeting scheduled, and we've got the Vivit Roundtables, which will be organized during the event on December 4th, 5th, and 6th. And the exact locations and times for those Vivit Roundtables will be shared with you in the near future. Laura, you're responsible for the advanced training part. Could you highlight with us what the advanced training part at Frankfurt is about?
Sure. Our advanced training session will be held the day before the conference starts. So it'll be on Monday, December 3rd. It'll take place between 1300 and 1700. We have 2 sessions, and this year we were able to find sponsorships for those sessions, so they will actually be made free of charge to our members. And so far attendance is quite high, so we're pretty excited about that. We have 2 courses that will be going on. One is focused on the ITSM product area. It'll be ITIL and Beyond, Success for Reliable Service Delivery. So if you're involved with any of those HP product lines, That would be the course to sign up for. We also have a testing course that will be Make Your Test Automation Project a Success Story. So each course will be 4 hours long. You can find more information at our website. I think Martine will go through the Discover event website in a little bit. You can register whether or not you have registered for the conference itself. So if you just want to attend the training session, that's an option. You just contact me directly to register. Otherwise, as you're signing up for your conference pass, there's an option to sign up for that training course during that process.
Well, thank you very much, Laura. And in the meantime, I also put up the Vivit website. So you can also find this kind of information on the Vivit website. So if you are interested in this training, or you know members from your chapter and special interest group which might be very interested, suitable for this training, please let them know. You can refer to our website about this training in the following manner. Just link on the icon or the picture about HP Discover 2012 Frankfurt, Germany, and there you get all the Vivit information for our Vivit members available on the website. It also, of course, highlights the discounts for our members when they would like to register, the Vivit Advanced Training, some data about the roundtables, and the user community launch, which is also very neat to visit when you're there. And of course, at the last part is Meet the Experts, which is hosted by HP Software, in which it's possible to meet some HP experts and discuss different kind of topics and tips and tricks about how they could optimize the usage of HP software, the HP software stack. So this is a part of a website in which you can also address your membership to. So if you have any communication coming month, or if you have any presentations scheduled, please visit our website, and we would really appreciate it if you could list these kind of activities for the Vivit members. And if you can talk about it or make some advertisement for it. Well, let's go back to the leader events. Besides the Vivit Advanced Training, thank you very much, Laura, for talking us through that. We also organized a Vivit Leader dinner and, of course, awards festivity. So probably for all those leader activities, you already received an agenda meeting request. So please accept them, or let's say let us know what you will be doing. You are more than welcome to join us for dinner, for sharing experiences, and for joining and celebrating this year's leaders, which did some additional and some huge activities for their community as well as for Vivit from a worldwide perspective. So we've got the Champion Award, which will be of course available, the Leader of the Year Award, and the new one is the Speaker Award for the speaker who did do some different kind of presentations, and they've got a lot of good reviews on that. So please join us. On December the 4th, we have scheduled a breakfast with leaders, and of course also HP Marketing. You know it also from the other events. The agenda is that we, of course, will provide HP Marketing with where we are with Vivit. We will also share the Vivit goals for the EMEA with HP, and some networking between Vivit as well as board staff, and of course especially also the HP Marketing guys from girls from the EMEAs. So please join us also on the Vivit and HP breakfast meeting. It gives you also a very good overview where we are with Vivit from a global level and also from an EMEA level. Then, of course, we will also have scheduled for a lead lunch meeting. This will also be organized that week. We would like to discuss with you some new developments, how we could support your events, but also how we could support our mutual events, and how we could and just some sharing of ideas and experiences. It's very important, I think, to take some additional time for sharing those ideas and experiences, because my experience is that during that week, during the different Vivit events, it's not always possible to get together with the right people and let's say ask some questions about how do you coping with sponsorships, or how do you get together a good speaker, or how do you organize a panel discussion. So please be there also at the lunch meeting, and also this is already pronounced in the Vivit leader newsletter, and be there and share some experiences. I would love to see you there. Last but not least, during December 4th, 5th, and 6th, we will organize some roundtables about some different topics. So there are a lot of topics, there are a lot of roundtables. I really like the different questions, and there are really some are already some questions here, and some are about pronouncing new software, which is also quite neat. So we will be pronouncing the exact dates and locations also very soon. Will probably be this week or next week. So also stay tuned for this. And you can also, of course, join yourself, but it could also be interesting if you will be traveling, or if you know that some of your members will be going to Frankfurt, please also invite them to join the roundtable meetings. Well, that's all about HP Discover in the EMEAs for now. We will love to see you there working on the booth, on sharing some experiences, and just seeing and meeting and greeting you again. If you have any questions, you could raise. This is probably the best moment to raise them.
We have one question, Martijn, from Naveen Jahabra. It says, hi Martijn, who typically funds for attending the HP Discover? I am just wondering if there are any funds available. Thanks.
Yeah, there are no really, let's say, normal funds available for going there. As earlier mentioned, on the website you can get some discount based on Vivit membership, but there are no funding possibilities to go there, unless you have, for example, there are sometimes from regional perspective, HP does sometimes cooperate with some of the members, or with a different kind of HP users, and they will join HP in going to the HP Discover, but there are no standard funding possibilities available, as I know at this moment. I'm sorry about that.
Okay. Any other questions? I don't see any hands raised, or there's no questions in the question pane at the moment.
So if you're really looking into funding, you could ask the possibilities with HP locally, because sometimes I know it happens from, let's say, a vendor user perspective, but that's most of the time very locally organized. And on the other hand, of course, which is another possibility, perhaps you will be one of the future champions, speakers or leader of the years, and then we will also bring you along to the HP Discover event. Okay. Well, the last part, wanted. We will. It's good to focus on two parts. The first one is if you know or come across good speakers, please let us know. If you are a speaker, please revise it. Let know in your bio. Earlier in our last meeting, we showed you how to do it. Just change your bio within your Vivit membership. You can do it with a website, and you will be known as a speaker. It's always good to know who is specialist on a certain group. But also, if you know other people who are very suitable for technical sessions as well as IT development sessions, could be within our community or outside the community, please let us know, because in this case we can build up a kind of a speakers list and we can share it with you, also to be able to pick them for your own virtual or local events. We're also looking for some bloggers. As you may know, we have different blogs on our website. Just take a look at them. They're very interesting, I think. And if you are into just putting together an article anyhow, or you are come across you read something which was very impressive, or you had a very impressive presentation, or you would like to say some words about an event you visited, please let us know, and we can give you some room and space to just share your ideas for our total community. Last but not least, as you know, we've got different kind of forums available, community forums on different kind of topics, and we're also looking for moderators, for people who would like to drive those discussions or would like to initiate some discussion on this community page. Typically we're talking in those areas, business service management, business intelligence, the items listed below. If you think you can initiate or continue this kind of discussion, please let us know, and we can talk about you being one of the important moderators of our forums. Please let us know, and we can talk you through it, and we can give you some access there to be able to dive in and start a lively conversation. Well, any other questions on this part or the earlier topics mentioned during this session?
I don't see any hand raised, but if you have a question, what we'll do, if you raise your hand, we will unmute you. You can ask your question. Don't be shy.
Don't be shy.
I don't see any hands raised now.
Okay.
We have
well,
a volunteer. Yeah. Go ahead.
Well, of course, hopefully we will meet also in Frankfurt, and then we can also share some ideas or some experiences. But what we also would like you to do after this meeting is just, if you could fill out a quick survey. We put together a very quick and neat survey. It gives us some direction on where to go with the quarterly meetings, as well as what topics are you now trying to address for your events or chapters. It could be an input for some future investigation, or it could be an important discussion topic for our leader lunch meeting at Frankfurt. So please fill out this quick survey because it will give us a very good overview on what you're dealing with at this moment, or what your most important concerns are. It's only about 3 questions, so we kept it very, very small.
There's no other questions at the moment here.
Okay, great. Obviously
Okay.
everything is clear, or we will notice it based on the survey. Thank you very much for joining us this morning, this afternoon, and hopefully we can meet and greet